I was trouble, you know. Scorpio, hello, good evening. It is May 2020, and I am Kendrick with Providence Tarot. I'll be giving you your reading. I'm going to be using the Morgan Greer Tarot deck just because it is literally the tarot deck that I think in, and this is what they look like. You probably know. I'm also going to be pulling a card from the Runes Oracle deck to kind of give us the energy of your reading, okay? First, I'm going to shuffle the Morgan Greer and lay those out. I'll also be using the Romance Angels Oracle, right? You know that one, I'm sure. And then I'm also using the Keepers of the Light. I'm using 4 Oracle decks, which is quite a lot, but I'm doing that. And this is a new one that was gifted to me a few months ago. Hi. Oh my god, I love your last name. But this is the Archangel Oracle cards, and this is Doreen Virtue. Oh my gosh, Arizona. You know, I was watching something on Route 66 the other day. I think it was like an Aerial America or something like that. I love that. Okay, change, new perspective, or maybe cutting ties, right? A new idea. And this is also just kind of like related to work that you're doing on yourself. This is a very powerful card. If this was a playing card, it will be talking about your own existence and the power of your existence and what you can do with that, right? Unapologetically. The Eight of Pentacles is unapologetic, right? And that is Sun and Virgo energy. All right, so yeah, so I'm going to be using those 4 decks, okay? Changes that occur within relationships that show you who people truly are and how you're meant to relate to that truth. However emotionally, upsetting it might be. Maybe it's triggering something in you. Maybe it's motivating you in a way, right? To ultimately have what it is that you do want, right? Because we're not trying to be affected emotionally in ways that are debilitating us, or in the full moon in Scorpio is coming up where the moon is going to be in its fall, right? We're talking about what we have learned and what we're going to do based on what we have learned. Now, it's like how we're using that information, right? Are we using that information for good or bad? Are we doing it in a timely way? And this is also just being resourceful with that information, you know? And really listening to what karma and Saturn are trying to teach you, because it's about lessons, it's about learning, it's about understanding. It's the beauty of understanding when something is over or when time is up with something, you know. This page of rods definitely talks about a maturing energy, you know, mature actions, right? Or it could be immature actions as well, being that it's a page, right? So it's one of the two, right? It's the polarity. It's like if you're thinking of one, then you're thinking of the other. Okay? Pretty much. The Empress is coming up. This is talking about your creativity, but also your sensitivity, right? And your need to protect your sensitivity so that you can remain creative, because things are constantly changing around you. This is how you allow your environment to influence you, right? How you see your environment. It's just you absorb the energy like a sponge, right? This is just kind of like keeping yourself busy, trying to be resourceful with what you have, right? Because it is talking about what you have, being that it's Taurus energy. You haven't felt creative in a bit, right? Well, this is kind of like being able to pull from source. What, since you know you haven't been able to be creative, how have you not been able to be creative? And then it's asking yourself those questions about like, what's been preventing me from being creative? If I know that I haven't been creative, what is it about my situation that's preventing that from me? Why don't I feel optimistic? Because this is a card that talks about optimism, and it talks about being open to receive the inspiration of optimism, that type of thing. You know, I've been watching these blue jays outside my window, and I've been talking to a lot of people about these blue jays because they have been doing so much work on their nest and they've been very productive. This is talking about productivity as well. You know, staying busy. It's a positive thing to keep yourself busy, right? You're learning that you need to keep yourself busy for your own mental well being. you know, to have a job to do or to have a purpose is healthy. You saw blue jay. Yes, yes, blue jays are a symbol of holy people. You know, I have a blue jay feather that I actually found in the park one day, when I was talking to one of my Scorpio people. And I take it out every now and then when I want to communicate. I've worn it before. It's very precious to me, and it only comes out at different times. Anyway, but these blue jays are doing all of this work on this nest. You know, they have to deal with the elements, they have to deal with the rain, they have to deal with the wind. You know, there's two of them, it's a pair, you know, and they're working together, right? You saw yesterday and one today. It's funny because it's a recurring thing. You know, the blue jay is showing you that to keep hope, right? Optimism, spirit. It's also a sign of communication, right? And they're also very rare. You know, so it's an idea to remind yourself about how special you are. And the Empress card asks you, it literally is asking you to remind yourself. It wants you to see how special you are. And you know, those extraordinary qualities about you are the things that are going to make you interesting, are the things that make you interesting, you know? So for you to not know what to do with your time, not to know, you might even be thinking about when is the right time for me to be creative. It's always the right time for you to be creative, you know? Sometimes we do spend a lot of time thinking. We do waste a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do or how we're going to do something or planning to do something instead of doing that thing when the possibility for prosperity is always, you know, around you. You're like bathing in possibilities. You know, you may not be bathing in prosperity because prosperity is something that you sort of have to reach. You know, it's something, you know, you have to become proficient in a way of thinking and a way of acting for you to become like for you to reach that sort of status, right? That potential. And this does talk about status too. Considering your status, wondering what your status is. Who am I? What am I doing? You know, what do I know? That type of thing as well. Yeah, you do need a schedule. You should write things down. The Empress is a 3. Venus is the esoteric ruler of Gemini, and Gemini is talking about writing, you know? So it's just kind of like allowing yourself to receive the information from you in a different way. You know, because the 3s are talking about versatility with, you know, that's what creativity is. You know, you have to have a flexible imagination to be creative. So we're asking you to do it to practice flexibility. I wrote stuff down on a list the other day, and I never really usually do that, but it kind of helped me be more productive that day. And, you know, I wasn't going against it. So this is also talking about not fighting against what is obvious, right? You can't deny certain things. It's like, okay, you know, that would actually be beneficial for me, right? Because Venus is a beneficial planet. It's also a sacred planet, too, you know, because there are certain things that you just have to um, submit to in order to see productivity, in order to see, you know, uh, level changes, right? We're thinking of that. We're thinking of all of the different ways that, you know, air can change its form, right? Diverse thinking, diverse ways of thinking. So I'm going to cut the cards now. But the mother is also something and children is something as well. But it's like it's like how spirit feeds you. You know, you're being fed information from spirit that is meant to nourish you. Just like you're being fed, you know, literally being fed nourishment from the mother to the child as the child is growing in the mother's womb. So spirit feeds you the information and wants you to digest it for your own growth, right? And then it's seeing the growth happen, and then it's like yes, 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 you're getting somewhere, because it really is talking about getting somewhere. So now we're at the cutting of the deck. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck is the Five of Cups, which talks about the realization of something that is changed that you relied on. Something that you probably hoped that wasn't going to change, or that you know things evolve, right? Because this is water, and water is it's the most unstable element, so it can change a lot. So these are your feelings changing about something that was consistent, about something that you relied on, and it's something that you relied on in your spiritual energy. You know, there was a deep connection there, and maybe that deep connection is being disturbed. I feel like the fives talk about disturbances that occur that kind of take us out of the reality that we once knew. So now we have to like reimagine, but also we have to reconnect with who we are and these changes that have happened, right? And the challenges. Who am I when faced with these challenges? You know, because it's like when you don't feel challenged by it, you're not asking yourself those deep, hard hitting questions. But then when you're challenged by something, you're like, wow, what does this mean? So this is talking about the meaning behind the feelings that you're having, even though they might be uncomfortable. You do have to face them, and you have to identify with these feelings because they aren't going to go away. This could be with work. This could be with a relationship in terms of like something that you were committed to or something that you really believed in, right? Um, this could also even be, you know, being disappointed by a loved one, maybe like a family member or someone that you're close to, something like that. Or this could be like you being the child of someone and feeling like left behind in some way. Not left behind, like people are like, ugh, but just feeling like kind of let down in some kind of way or alone. Because there's a feeling of loneliness here, right? Not being seen emotionally. And these are severe emotions, so they're harsh, right? So you might be feeling bad about the way that you're feeling, but they really are your true feelings, right? Or you could be feeling bad about someone else's true feelings, you know? Because Scorpio is about trust. And for you to trust, you have to experience some level of truth in order to trust, right? Because trusting someone or trust is like giving away a vulnerable part of yourself, and like knowing that you're exposing a vulnerable part of yourself, not actually intending for that part of yourself to be damaged. But then it's like when that does happen, you're like, oh wow, I'm feeling there's some damage here. So yeah, that's what this card sort of makes me feel. But this card also is asking you to understand that this is going to happen. You know, shit happens. You do have to pick up the pieces. You've got to keep it moving. Scorpio is one of the most powerful signs. You've got a full moon coming up in a couple of days, right? For those Scorpio risings, it's your first house. You know, so this does talk about transformations, something that is changing in a real way. You know, it's like the acknowledgement of something that has completed. Like the feeling is completed. Like, yeah, I know how I feel. That really is how I feel. But now, how I feel, now I have to act based on how I feel. And that's the five, right? Okay, let me lay them out. I'm playing Amy Winehouse because she just seems like the perfect one to play for you guys. You know, I have half of Scorpio in my first house, and I have Pluto in my first house as well. So, I have a very scorpionic experience. What song is on now? Wake Up Alone. No, that's right. Okay, so let me go ahead and shuffle, or let me shuffle these runes cards, and yeah. So the fives, the fifth house is Leo, so this could be talking about, you know, the fun may be maybe being taken out of an emotional experience or something like that. It's almost like the Five of Cups are like things just got a little bit more real, right? In terms of how I feel about something. Um, yeah. The fifth, I have to learn to remember the seven rays of consciousness so that I can like really give you that. Okay, Berkana, this is the swan. This is like creativity. Basically, this is like the Empress all over again from the runes. So it's asking you to express this energy. You know, like I experienced it too, you know, with Pluto and Saturn being in the first house. I can get stuck on the heaviness and the pressure and the oppression. You know, it's kind of like the person at their knees crying, staring up at the sky, asking why. You know, and it's like you're asking why to an experience that you're having when you should just be in the moment and be having that experience. Because then, if you're doing that, like those Blue Jays are, you know what I mean? Like, they're not questioning anything, they're not blaming anyone for anything, they are constantly being creative, right? And they're being objective too, very much like Geminis, right? Being the first air sign, right? As above, so below. It's like they're just doing what they do, right? Everything's happening around them, just like the Empress, but it's like, you know, they're like, okay, well, if all this stuff is going to be happening around me, then I might as well be resourceful with it. I might as well pull from it, you know, and just make the best out of this experience. Yeah. And I wonder about them, like I worry about them. It's weird because I feel like I have like this connection to them now. But I'm like, oh my God, it's windy today. Or oh my God, it's raining today. Like, is their nest gonna be blown over? Like, what's gonna happen? And I'm like, they're blue, like they're birds. Like they're just gonna like make another one. You know, then they don't have time to like cry or wither or worry about it because they literally are losing time. They have to keep going. And it's very much like the threes, you know what I mean? The Empress being the first one that came up, like not wasting time on your creativity. You know, every moment is a moment for you to activate magic or whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? For you. Whatever that is for you that you're trying to do. So Berkana, it really is about your creativity. It's the swan, it's the beauty. It's nurturing. You have to, you know, you're nurturing yourself. You're nurturing your experience too. It's like your life is a baby that grows with you, right? And you're like nurturing that. Yeah? The threes, I mean, like the Empress, yes, creativity, understanding, connection to people, and then, you know, it's your compassion as well. It's like how you connect with things that you may not be connected to, but on an emotional level. But then it's also understanding that you have to nurture your experience in a real way so that you like benefit from like making something real out of it. That's like the world, right? Being number 21. So let me read this card to you. It is called Berkana, and I'll let you see what it looks like. I always feel like things are like backwards here, but that's it, right? This energy of feeling free and open, exposed, vulnerable, safe. Okay. Let's see. So, sorry. I always feel like I can't turn these pages fast enough because... Alright, here we go. Swan, creativity. The rune is linked to fertility, beauty, and the ability to take care of others. All classic feminine attributes. So you basically got the Empress twice. A woman runs to meet a child, and in the background, a swan, a symbol of purity, swims gently in the lake. The time has come to celebrate creativity, tenderness, strength that come from being receptive. There is great beauty in being at the service of others. Inspiration comes only to those who know how to listen and embrace the stimuli surrounding them, wow, without necessarily acting right away. Are we able to take care of others without asking anything in return? Do we believe tenderness is for the weak, or do we consider it an important virtue? Rakana protects those who are on the verge of giving birth to a child, either in the flesh or symbolically. So something is growing and something is happening, and there's a creative process that is taking place that is bringing you into a new stage, right? And you have to nurture that process, like sort of like I was saying before. And it really is about being inspired and allowing yourself to see that you're constantly being navigated through life, right? Yeah. So let me flip over the card that's in the center for you. Oh wow, Judgment. That's Pluto. Pluto rules this full moon. Pluto is actually in Capricorn. Capricorn is talking about economy, right? It's also talking about governing systems, right? Career, professionalism, respect, self-respect that comes through hard work, um, and the experience, right? But Pluto and Judgment is also talking about power and control, you know? And this is understanding that really you can't control what other people do, what other people say, what other people have, and vice versa. It's like, stop thinking about stuff that you can't do anything about, because it is restricting you and it is preventing you from seeing all of your potential, right? Because this is potent energy with Pluto. Pluto is the higher octane of Mars. Yes? So this is really doing it for something bigger. Yeah, it's almost like playing for keeps here with the Judgment card, with the Pluto energy. And it's talking about transformation. Yes, it's talking about focus, deep focus as well. This is perfect for you. This is your ruler coming up in the center of your reading 2 days before your full moon. So what is changing inside of you that's setting you free from some old aspect of yourself that was preventing you from, seeing a better, from understanding things a little bit better, right? Because this is talking about fears too. It's talking about the things that you just, um, there's certain things in our lives that we fall victim to by default. And sometimes we are worried, we're scared, fearful, upset, hungry, right? This is an appetite for something different. And it's kind of like sometimes we make that we make our hunger about someone else. And it's not about it, someone else's gain isn't your loss, right? And your loss isn't someone else's gain. So don't think about what people might be wanting for you that isn't good or isn't positive, or ways that might reduce you, that you might feel like other people might be thinking. Because that's not actually your reality. Your reality is who you are and what you want to be, and not what they think you are, or what they think that they see you as for them or to them, right? Because if those people don't know themselves, how are they going to know you, right? You know what I mean? It's like they have to get themselves right before they can even come come for you. So just focus on yourself. But what if it's a boss who rates you down for no good reason? Exactly. Well, Pluto isn't Saturn, but you kind of have to let them be in that. You know, when you don't give people that power to control you in the way that they know that they are letting you know that they're trying to, it's out in the open, right? It's taking back the control. It might be reverse psychology, but it is very powerful, because if you know what needs to happen, then you know what needs to happen. You might have the advantage. And this is talking about having the advantage as well, because it's Pluto, right? There's something else that you know. You asked for a raise and you got excuses. Yes. How long ago was this? And this is talking about shared resources too. And it's talking about earned income. You work a week. This is talking about getting what you want, right? But it's talking about getting what you want by not a week ago. But it's talking about getting what you want by already sort of like seeing it happen, right? Imagining it already. You know? This is very deep channeling energy. You can get what you want, but you don't have to have it. But you don't have to make it about someone else not giving you what you want. See what I mean? Make it about them giving you what you want. You'll get it. I can even grab my pendulum. You know, I like everybody. You know, whoever's in here, write a question down. You know, before the reading's over, write a question down. Looking for another job. Okay, this is saying that you can find one, right? How long have you been at your job? I would tell you to also like just wait for things to kind of like clear up, because there are some things right now that are out of your control. There are a lot of things that are out of all of our control. So it's like you definitely don't want to do anything drastic. You know, Pluto is the higher octane of Mars. So this could just be kind of like out of ego. Sometimes you want to just kind of like do things to prove something to yourself. And it's really just based on your ego. And sometimes your ego can trick you, right? Sometimes your ego can trick you and, you know, it's not really what you meant it to be. Okay, so what's challenging you, or what is the immediate influence right here? The immediate influence here is waiting for something to happen, for you to feel like you're getting the advantage here. You know, you want some growth, right? I feel like you're searching too. You're like searching for more, searching for something to do. You want a little bit more purpose as well, right? You want to feel like you're appreciated. Yeah. So there's like, you want to feel appreciated. You're trying to do, some of you need to be in your own business. You know what I mean? If there's some kind of like creative offering that you have to bring to the table, whatever it is, if it's making something, producing something with your hands, crafting something, keep doing that. You know? Definitely keep doing that. And this is saying that you might go back into that. You know, Venus is going retrograde in Gemini. Gemini is naturally the third house. Mars is going to be leaving Aquarius and going into Pisces. And that is very much creative energy. You know, this is Sun in Aries, right? And Sun in Aries is talking about exposure, but it's also talking about new ideas, being inspired. Um, Also, this is kind of like gathering information, coming up with a plan of action too. You know, with that 3 being there. Okay, let's look at the card in your past. I was going to say something about kids, right? Or children. Um, I don't know if some of you want to work with children. I don't know if some of you are dealing with your own children, but the Page of Swords is here in the past, and it's talking about changes that happen within your thought process, right? You're learning something new, right? This is also just kind of being like very inquisitive, wanting, you know, looking for something. I feel like there's like you want to satisfy, you're on a quest for knowledge or something. You're on a quest for information. It's kind of like you want to find out something. This is also bringing in an announcement of something that's going to change something for you. You know, this could be this could be an announcement that might even happen from work, right? Email, something like that. Um, I don't know. I feel like some of you guys might even be thinking about getting off of social media or something like that. Yes, I want to know who was talking maliciously about me, which was a domino in September. Oh, somebody was talking maliciously. Okay, so this Page of Swords could be like someone being inappropriately immature about what they were saying. But this was in the past. This is in the past position, right? And then this Three of Wands is kind of like, the information coming back to you. This is the information coming back to you, right? And then this is almost kind of like, you know, everything sort of being out in the open, right? When everything's out in the open, then we're kind of like free from our limitations, right? Another three, right? I love the threes. And the threes are talking about multiplicity as well. Okay, let's not get sidetracked. Let me keep going. Let me look at the sun position. All right, so yeah. You got the Five of Swords here, and the Five of Swords is talking about another five. So it's a challenge here, a challenge in perspective, a challenge in belief systems, right? Disagreements, like misunderstandings. No, it's like a situation that isn't getting better, and it's like trying to work together or trying to talk it out isn't necessarily working. And that's, it's in the sun position. So the sun is just bringing a lot of focus and attention to the fact that maybe there needs to be some sort of detachment, or there needs to be some sort of communicative um, cutting, detachment, pulling away, right? This is almost like not even being a team player. Venus in Aquarius. That's what this is, this Five of Swords. And it just talks about you not being heard, Maybe your perspective isn't being seen, or you're not able to share your opinion in the right way. You just don't feel like you're able to even speak or talk to whoever. You might even be getting sick of talking to some people, right? That sort of thing. This is even like, I don't feel like I'm being heard because you guys think that you know more, or you feel like you know what I'm gonna say, or and it's even that too. It's like you even just thinking that you know what I'm gonna say is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, let me say what I'm gonna say, and don't think that what I have to say doesn't deserve to be heard just because you think you already know what I'm gonna say. Like that type of thing. And also, this is conversation and communication always turning up into being like this kind of like um maybe like fight type of thing, or like it's just it's a lot of back and forth here too. Like this is kind of like very much like bickering as well, you know because there's somebody wants to be right here. I feel like there's a lot of competitive energy in terms of you know who wants to be heard the most, right? That type of thing, yeah. And this could even be like a group of people. You know how people gang up, that type of thing, right? Somebody might feel just kind of, yeah, talked about, ganged up on. This is different for everybody. Misunderstanding, you know. This is also harsh communication and shock that comes from the harsh communication, or shock that comes from what you hear that you didn't think that you would have heard, or that type of thing. Yes, oh my gosh, 12-year-old mean girls. Those ages are pretty harsh, right? Because yeah, this is that too. And this can also be, like, because the fifth house is the house of fun and games, and you want to sort of like experience things in a pleasurable way, right? You want to indulge in the pleasures of being alive, right? And this is being prevented just by people's egos and a sense of, you know, feeling like your opinion might be more important than others, or even telling other people how to think, how they should be thinking, or vice versa, people telling you how you should think. Okay, the Ace of Rods is in the Moon position, so it's kind of like, I feel like you're going to do something. Be smart about what you're doing. You have to, know what the consequences for your actions are going to be, and how those consequences might affect you emotionally. You know what I mean? Capricorn is your third house, right? Anyway, the Ace of Rods is talking about potential. It's talking about action, and I feel like there's something forced here. You might be forced to do something, just because of, you might feel like you're going to be forced to do something. And I don't feel like it's going to be anything where it hurts anyone, but this is action that is taken, right? And it's due to, like, e- your emotions, yeah. And you've evolved to this place over time. You're like, I've gotten around to this point, and now I have to do this, whatever it is, whatever this is for you. And this is you thinking about, what what you're capable of, you know it's kind of like revealing to you what you're capable of, your own potential. It's hidden potential with the Ace of Rods being in the Moon position. And here we go. This is like the completion of something, but the new beginning as well. So this is a new beginning that's happening emotionally, right? And it's causing you to, like, it's like a change, right? The way that you act, the way that you present yourself, right? It's different. And it's not like, that's just you. That's just how Scorpio does it, right? And this Ace of Rods is talking about access. How are you accessing these parts of yourself, you know? And this is also even like divine intervention that comes in from the universe or whatnot, and it does something for you. There's going to be a shift in the energy during the full moon for you, and it's going to make you feel different, like some energy has turned over. That's literally in like a couple of days. So some of you guys could be feeling it now, right? And I feel like maybe this conflict here that's in the sun position with the Five of Swords is kind of what brought it in. It motivated it. Because the fives are talking about motivation as well. There was a conscious shift due to a communicative exchange that has caused you to see a new beginning within yourself, a new foundation that is flourishing. So this is talking about a flourishment of a new foundation. Okay, so in the anxieties, right, and the disappointments, we have to do. We're talking about what you've been thinking about over and over and over again, time and time and time again. Or this is even kind of like, when you manifest, it's like you've imagined something, imagining the worst, right? This is expecting the worst, almost even. This 9 is talking about learning and growth as well, but it's misinformation and the growth of misinformation. Or it's kind of like, you know revealing mistruths, because the nines are talking about things that are hidden that you go in to reveal, right? So you could be just revealing things to yourself that don't sit well with you, and you have anxieties about the places that your mind is going, or the places that your emotions are taking you, um this is also just, it's Mars and Gemini. And Mars being in Gemini is kind of like being all over the place. So your thoughts are all over the place, and it's getting in the way of you being productive, right? Because the nines want to be productive, they're related to the Hermit, which is Virgo. But then there's swords, and it is Gemini. So it's saying, like, you know, your thoughts are misaligned. They're not in an order. They're not in a way where you're going to be able to plan things well, you know? So that's what your anxiety is doing to you. It's preventing you from accomplishing things and from you know, being goal oriented, you know, planning things. You got to write stuff down cuz you're forgetting things, you know, and you're getting upset over forgetting things, or you're just kind of like, yeah, you've got to write things down. Yeah, definitely being off center. The nines related to planning, being practical, being logical, right? This is kind of like having so many things to do, but not knowing the order to do them in because you just haven't gotten yourself started, right? Because Mars rules the first house, so it talks about starts, but you're so busy, you're too busy to even get started. You can't even see your way to start, or you can't see your way out of something to start doing something. That type of thing. Ah, yes. And then, you know, this could be talking about just being frustrated over what you have learned, you know? And this is kind of like detaching, you know, detaching from the emotions, right? Thoughts and emotions. It's like they're conflicting with each other because those nines are also related to the moon. Anyway, let me flip over this Mars card. Right, here you go. Look, wow, this is amazing. Anxieties, Nine of Swords. The next card in your Mars, I just talked about Mars, right? Ten of Swords. That completion, that ending, that full understanding, that knowledge, right? I don't need to know more. I've had enough. I can't take it anymore, right? Okay. I don't want to do this again. I'm too old for this, right? This has to stop. And Gemini season is coming up, y'all, right? And in Gemini season, we're going to have a full moon in Sagittarius, which Jupiter, which is the number 10, is Sagittarius. You did. You just said that today, right? There you go. Here's that confirmation. Here's that you know, um, confirmation, affirmation. This is talking about, you know, time is up with something, and you have better you have better things to do with your time, right? Because it's Gemini, things to do. It's a 10 with your time, right? All the things, you know, you're already busy enough, you know, but this is going to be a completion, right? Their culmination. It's also talking about that full moon energy, you know, because this is the Mars position that this card is in, and this is a completion. The full moon is a completion, and it's going to be in Scorpio. Mars rules Scorpio. Mars rules this full moon. And so does Pluto. Pluto and Mars, right? And they're both in signs that are ruled by Saturn. Capricorn and Aquarius. So there's some old personal systems, personal habits, and ways of thinking, you know, that have been challenging us, or old ways of thinking that have now become challenging because they are obsolete. They just don't fit into this period, this situation that I find myself in now. You know, stages have been reached and passed, right? There have been different levels, and I'm realizing that, like, I've reached the final board of this, you know, the final level of this, right? I don't play video games, but you know what I'm talking about. Yes, teaching online is a new thing for me. It's so difficult, yeah. Well, the Gemini new moon that's going to be coming up as well is going to be a clearing of energy, right? And also, we're going to be having that Venus retrograde happen. So now we're going to get ready to pull a Romance Angels Oracle card for our Venus position that's coming up next. Okay. In your Venus position, great. I love it. So this is Mercury in Cancer, right? Mercury being in Cancer. Busy, busy, busy. Okay. This is like busy creativity. You know, this is a lovely card to get in the Venus position. Um, this is enjoying your time, spending your time wisely. This is also doing those things that are going to nurture your spirit, you know. Think about what you need, okay? Think about what is going to be easy to access that you can provide yourself with that you need, right? Whether it's taking a bath, taking a shower, you know, using whatever wellness tools that you have around the house that you've always had that you haven't done, you know, whether it's, you know, combing your hair that day or actually putting on an actual outfit, or, you know, making dinner and actually sitting people around like your family and having dinner, or doing or that, or even like a movie night, like planning that type of shit, and like getting popcorn and kind of making it like an experience that you are familiar with, that you love, that brings you pleasure, and that makes you feel, you know, just kind of like, I don't know, like you're having a good time or whatnot. So this is kind of like doing that, you know, and it's not spending too much time focusing on the negative, right? This is finding flexibility within your emotional process, being like, okay, yeah, you know, well, I'm pretty flexible right here, so I'm not gonna be too emotionally attached, right, to what's happening. I can find some sort of like flow within it, right? Oh, we're changing that, or oh, this is changing. That's fine. I can still enjoy it, right? And it really is the little things. With the Three of Cups, it talks about the little things, right? If it's about getting flowers, do that. If it's about playing, you know, sometimes my mind is just going so much. I'm so distracted. I'm so just kind of like, it's almost like you can be focused on your distraction. You're like, oh, you know, that energy is just really pulling you in. And I'll be listening to music. I'll be like, this is not the music I want to listen to. And I'll put something else on. I'm like, oh my God, ah. But it's just like, I need something to do like this. This is what I need to be doing. Instead of being like, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh my God. Yeah. It's also talking about doing things that are sort of, not necessarily childish. Like I'm getting like animated films. Like maybe you need to watch an animated film so to take the seriousness out of your experience. Like you need something lighter, right? That's what the Three of Cups are. It's like, oh yeah, I can be flexible about the way that I satisfy my needs for creativity and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's weird because it's almost like reconnecting with your childhood too. And it's funny because we have the Page of Swords here, which is talking about youthful energy. And then in a youthful perspective, right? Way of thinking. The Nine of Swords also does in some kind of way because it's Mars and Gemini. And that's kind of like doing things in a way that you don't feel like you may have outgrown something, you know. So sometimes that Nine of Swords energy talks about outgrowing something. And then, you know, Sun and Gemini came up with the Mars position. So maybe that Sun bringing focus to the Gemini energy and the Mars position is saying, like, yes, you need to be a little bit more playful about your experience because that is what is going to bring you more, you know, joyful expression. And that's what the Three of Cups is talking about, joyful expression. But you can experience that when you like, oh, I'm gonna watch Mulan tonight. Oh, I'm gonna watch The Lion King tonight. Oh, I'm going to look at old episodes of Reading Rainbow. Oh, I'm going to, yeah, because it is talking, this is a three, right? The world card, Saturn, that's also a three. But Saturn is telling us that, like, sometimes you do have to do things differently. That's the lesson. That's what it's teaching you, right? Another three, right? Um, but Saturn also rules Aquarius. And Aquarius says, sometimes you just gotta shake it up and do it differently so that you can appreciate your experience more. It's like if someone who always wore black one day wore white and they were like, oh my God, this is refreshing. So this is talking about refreshing as well. And I did say get the popcorn, all of that stuff, refreshments. Oh, lovely, Aquarius Moon, right? And this is energy. This is energy that can kind of like fit into that, right? Aquarius Moon. This is Mercury in Cancer, right? Mercury being in a sign that's ruled by the moon, Mercury being exalted in Aquarius. Yeah, the moon likes flexibility as well, right? The moon is number 18. That reduces to a 9. This is a 9. And it's about flexibility right here, which swords, right? So the lesson is that you do need to be more flexible. Because when you are, rigid in terms of like knowing that you might need something, because it really isn't about what someone is trying to get you to do, it's about what you want to do, right? Because sometimes what you want to do is going to be easier than what you're being told to do. So sometimes you have to go with what you know. So if you're going against yourself or going against what you know, then you're going to be finding some difficulty in enjoying that, right? Or feeling like you're getting somewhere. So you have to kind of like it's like you have to be able to access those parts of yourself, right? It's like don't make it difficult for yourself. That's what I'm getting. Stop making it difficult for yourself. Stop making it hard for yourself. And that's what the judgment card is asking you here to do as well. Because the judgment card is 20, but that reduces to a 2. And that is the high priestess. That's Taurus energy being the second house. The high priestess is Pisces, making it easy, because those are both related to, the energy of Venus, right? It's being fair to yourself too, being logical, right? Being also objective, right? There's a little bit of objectivity that comes with the judgment card, because you have to be objective in order to see where you need to let go of something that isn't actually serving or helping you. Okay, let's flip over these Romance Angels Oracle cards. Right? Keep yourself busy with things that are going to be, healing. Right? Think healing with everything that you do. Or everything actually can be healing. Eat some fruits. You know what I mean? Some of you guys need some electrolytes. Vegetables, fresh things. Eat fresh things. Okay? Because that's going to feed your spirit and it's going to feed your body and it's going to make you just feel better. Right? Okay. Very soon. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. And this is talking about setting intention and visualization. And, it's interesting because this is talking about visualizing something so that it comes to you. You know what I mean? Being like, yes, I know that I want this. I know that I need this. I know that I can get this. And I feel inspired to make this happen. I feel inspired to manifest this, Yeah. Let's go with your future cards now. Wow, beautiful. I just talked about manifestation, right? You got the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is talking about wealth. It's talking about health. And it's talking about the embodying something, right? You know, all of the practice and all of the work, all of the just adjustments that take place for you to kind of like get things done, right? You have to embody whatever aspect of yourself that needs to change, right? It's like adapting to whatever needs to be done now. So let me embody this right now. Let me embody this right now. You know, there's a reason, there's a season. I don't know what the song is. But these tens are talking about how you spend your time, you know. It's also talking about respecting and honoring time. You know, when you think about what you could have done or what you could be doing, you know, every moment that you waste is a moment that you could be doing something. And it is almost kind of like, why put off to why do to what is that statement? It's why put off tomorrow what you can do today. That type of thing. And that's kind of Virgo energy too. It's like, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. You know, and it's planning, right? And if you don't, be smart about it too. It's like, allow yourself to do the easy things first, so then you feel like you're driving down the road of productivity, right? It's almost like those smaller tasks are like the first set of like road signs or whatever. You know, they're getting scratched off the list first. Yeah, don't do everything all at once, or don't try to do everything all at once, because you're just going to feel defeated. You're going to feel like there's too many things to do. And you're just going to be like, no, I'm just going to stop doing everything. You know, don't do that. Um, these tens are talking about completions. It's also talking about learning from your experience, you know? It's like, this won't happen to me again, or like, I know how to deal with this, you know. I'm equipped to deal with these changes, you know, or I can make these adjustments. I can make it work for me, right? Being very logical, being very practical about what you would like to see change, right? It's like, I can see the change. That means the change is happening. That's good. It's like, I've learned, I've got the information. I am now capable of making something happen, making something, you know, worthwhile for me, making this work for me, because it's about being of service to yourself, right? And this is also talking about how you're going to make your money work for you, you know? So that's kind of like, making your money work for you means that you might have to make some adjustments here and there. You know, something might have to wait a little bit longer to be paid, right? Some things, you know, also don't pay everything off in full, right? Do the minimum payments if you can, right? Because that might keep you in a healthier standing than just like paying one bill off and then letting a lot of them suffer, you know. Whereas maybe all of them won't be suffering, but you won't have to pay all of them off, that type of thing. Anyway, let me move on. Wow, another progression here. So you got a 10 and then you got an 11. And yeah, the Justice card is here. So this is probably like a relationship that you know, is going to balance itself out. This does talk about, you know, making a decision about a relationship in order to balance it out. This is like choosing to do the right thing, right? So this decision could just be based on you thinking logically and practically about what it is that's going to be best, what it is that's fair, probably to you and to other people, right? You're like, this is just kind of like the best decision that I can make right here in this moment. You know, you might even feel like you were pressured to make this decision here, being that the Justice card came up, because that scale does feel pressure to make that decision. I feel like, you know, this is also feel like you being watched, you know, the Justice card. It's like, I'm being watched here, so let me just be a little bit more graceful, because I know I'm being watched, you know? It's like that scale is like, ooh, yeah, they're waiting to see what I'm going to decide or what I'm going to do. It's almost like, I feel like somebody is trying to get in your head, but they can't get in your head right now. And it's not like you're hiding anything. It's just like you're just being, you know, you're just there. It's like an object, right? you can ask what was that meme when the people were talking to their furniture or talking to their lamp. You can do that all day long. It doesn't mean that it's going to actually respond back to you. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't know until you know, right? So this is time as well. Something is time sensitive, something is time delicate. um yep, another major card. This is gracefulness too, and this is social distancing. Right, maybe social distancing has made the situation a little bit better. Um, and it's good that we can use social distancing too, right? But this is something that's being revealed to you. You're kind of like holding back or you're stepping back, right? You're creating distance and you're waiting to see what happens, right? Because then you will know what to do, right? And the Justice card is here, but also the higher octane of Mars is here, Pluto, which is also a 2. Like the Justice card is 11, and together those two ones make a 2. Okay? I love it. Yes. So we're talking about the power of information. You know, knowledge is power, and sometimes we just have to wait to receive more information, more data. You know, where are we going? What are the changes that we're experiencing that lets me know what our next stage is? You know, sometimes when you don't know, it's like the Justice card, that's Libra. And sometimes Libra has to know something else from another source before it knows what to do, because it's like I have to know what my position is, right? Because it's about comparing, and it's about contrast, and then it's also about relating. You know, it's like if I know that someone is going to be, if someone is 5 hours away from the place that we're meeting and I'm 1 hour away from the place that we're meeting, we can't leave at the same time and expect to get there at the same time. You know what I mean? The person who lives 4 hours away from the place that we meet is going to have to start moving a couple or a few hours before me. So it's like, why would I get there first and wait 3 extra hours? It's like, no, I'm going to wait for 2 or 3 hours to pass by. Then I'm going to start moving so that I can meet you there. You know what I mean? Because what's the point of me doing something that doesn't make any sense? That's not logical. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just have to be a little bit reserved too. Because the Justice card is talking about being a little bit reserved, right? With your choices and with your decisions. And also just with kind of like, yeah, just with that. And money as well, right? Because it's like, I don't know yet. And it's like, sometimes you have to wait for the court system to decide something, or you have to wait for the authorities or the leaders to decide something, or you have to wait for something to be revealed to you so that you even know what your options are before you can even decide something, right? Libra is a cardinal sign. And how many times do you have to wait for something? You gotta wait for your mail. You gotta wait to be paid, right? They gotta wait to receive the money that you're paying your bills. All of that. Too many. You gotta wait for everything. The only thing that you don't necessarily have to wait for is you, the Empress card. Because this is male, female, right up in here. This is all. Everybody. Let's pull a Keepers of the Light card. And then I'm going to go with the Archangel Oracle card from Doreen Virtue last. These readings are a little bit long, but your full moon is coming up, and, we've been talking, and sometimes I'm doing these readings, and I'll get distracted or something, but, it's fine. We channel, we pulling information in, right? Come on, Galactic Center. All right. Shuffle a few more times. But yeah, there's some things here that are completing, like if you were asking yourself a lot of questions, or these questions were plaguing you, or these thoughts were plaguing you, and you just kind of wanted to get out of that energy of feeling like, you know, just in one side of your brain, or on one side of your brain what you were contemplating. It's like you want to get out of that. You're like, I'm just tired. It's like you're exhausted from the thoughts, the talking, all of the stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's going on there. Okay, so let me go ahead and oh my gosh. The Miriam, Sacred Vision, choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. Mm-hmm. Very Gemini, right? And then we know that the Justice card, or sorry, the Justice card, yeah. And the Judgment card is a 2 as well, because it's 20, right? Bam, bam. This is Roman numeral 10 twice. So it's a 1 and a 1, right? Letting go of control issues, right? That type of thing. Yeah, I'm gonna pull another one from this. El Moriah, Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. I feel like I was reaching with those. All right, so let me go ahead and flip over the last card. Wow. Amazing. Look at you. Wow. You said wow with me, Sharon. The Fool. And where is the Fool right now for you, Scorpio? Where's Uranus? It's in Taurus, where it's in its fall. Because Uranus is actually... Wow, there's some opposition here. Uranus is in your 7th house. The moon is in Taurus's 7th house. So there's opposition. I see you, you see me. There's changes that have to happen. You know, I have to comb off all of the extraness, right? I've got to start over. I'm in a transient place. I don't know right now. I don't know. You know, that's the Fool. I don't know. It's like ignorance is bliss, or, you know, it could be agony. But ignorance is also sometimes just like, you know what, I'm just here. I'm detached from anything that might be holding me back. Right? I don't feel weighed down by anything. That's good, Scorpio. You're like, I don't want anything to be weighing me down. And that's what the Fool card is talking about. Not being weighed down by your experience. You know, you're like, I'm here, I'm in the moment. You know, I might have a past, but I'm not letting that weigh me down. Because I'm looking towards my future. And that's what's really important. What's in front of me is more important than what is behind me. Right? Absolutely. And this is logos. This is God energy. This is inspiration. This is constant flow of positive energy. And being able to access that positive energy at any given time, right? You know? And it's like making it your own. You know, the next card from here is the Magician, which is like very much alchemy. Bam. It's like, yeah. Okay, word. I'm living. So now let's pull the Archangel Oracle card from Doreen Virtue. I really like these. And, you know, I let these sit in the box for a long time just because they were a new deck that I hadn't used and they were gifted to me by someone. A water sign. And I was just kind of inspired to take them out the other day, and I was pulling them and I was just like, wow, these are amazing. I love them. You're welcome. If you guys want to donate to the channel, I will put that information in the description box. I have to remember because, you know, sometimes you wait for the video to upload and then you're so happy after the hours that it took to upload, you forget to... You're like, yay, it uploaded. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, you did say that you were going to put the stuff in the description box. So I'll do that. All right, so let's see. Ooh, you saw that, right? Came out on its own. Let's see what that is. And this is what the back looks like. This is interesting. Indigo and Crystal Children. So you already know. Some of you guys are probably gifted, right? obviously you're a Scorpio, so it's like the clairvoyance is there, just the deep connection to the spiritual world, and it's about healing as well. So some of you guys are here to, guys and girls are here to heal other people, and you're healing yourself as other people heal with you. It's like healing each other. We're all healing, you know. So this is what the card says. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive, right? And when we started the reading, I said something about children because, all of the threes are talking about hope and inspiration and a childlike mindset that is impressionable enough to not be jaded, right? And to be able to see, and that's, we were talking about, playfulness, just the threes here. Here's one as well. Here's another one. The Empress came up, and here are children again. There's 3 kids, right? 3 kids right here. Yep, children. And just think about what sort of, in what quantity do you want to work with children? In what capacity would you like to work with them? If you have some sort of like, you could be anything. You could be uh, uh, a teacher in a school, elementary school. You can be like a coach, right? You can be a mentor. You can be a counselor. You're a teacher. There you go. And if you're a teacher, then you can, like, all of those things are possible to you. If you're a teacher, then you could probably be one of the coaches in the school. If you're a teacher, then you can probably, do a, I don't know. There are many different creative ways to do things with children, especially if you're a teacher. You have to be creative, right? And it's interesting because the threes are talking about learning. It's talking about information and the connections that we make, right, through sharing information and how we learn from that sharing of information and the growth that occurs from that, right? So things are always changing. And that's something that we can rely on. We can count on that things are always changing. The Justice card, this talks about justification, right? This talks about recalibration. This talks about rebalancing, you know? And the interesting thing about the Justice card is that it's Libra. And esoterically, Libra is ruled by the Fool. So for a scale to be at 0 would mean for it to be at balance. These are both future cards. So this is saying that things are going to improve for you. The Justice card wants to see improvements, right? The Justice card wants to see changes too, because it's a cardinal energy, right? I want to see the change, right? And the Fool is like, yes, be open to the change, right? Be free to the change, because you have to remember that you're not in control of some things. And when life is asking and forcing you to change, then sometimes you just have to go along with that, right? Because you yourself don't want to become obsolete to your own life, right? So sometimes you have to reprogram your computer. Yes, Justice card is a need for balance, equilibrium, right? Take the weight off. It's like take the weight off the scales, and then this is like take the weight off of me, right? But then also the Star card is very much like take the spiritual, like lift the spiritual, like cloak, or just the weight off of me. Okay, that type of thing. All right, Scorpio, thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video below. Follow me on Instagram. I'm NYC Kendrick, and I'm also Providence Tarot there as well. All right. Actually had a 3-hour conversation with one of my favorite Scorpios today. So I knew it was time for you guys. So I went way over, which isn't really over. I just had a long conversation with you. Thank you. Oh. You guys are so special. You know, Scorpios and that Scorpio energy is always around me. Whether it's like, you know, people having a lot of planets in Scorpio, very significant ones, or people being Scorpios, or people having, you know, a Scorpio moon rising or eighth house energy. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.